Welcome back, PetaPixel viewers. It is Chris Nichols here. Join us today for one of our special episodes that we like to call Technicals with Chris Nichols. And what tech are we looking at today? Well, look at this. We have the brand new RayBan Meta Smart Glasses version 2. Let's get into it. And we never got a chance to play with the first version of these, but apparently they left a lot to be desired. Now we've got the second version. And what these are doing is combining a lot of different equipment into one unit. Now, I just want to get this across. These are not augmented reality glasses in any way. Nothing's coming up on the display, but they do cover a lot of your needs. So I've got a video camera and stills camera in here. I've got headphones in here. I can listen to Spotify. I can take calls, 5 microphones all around here that record spatial audio and make calls very, very clear. And on top of that, I mean, they're glasses. I normally wear RayBans as my regular sunglasses for when I'm fishing and stuff like that. These are going to be a Wayfarer style, but there's many different styles you can look at. I got the matte black here, and these do have the G15 transition lenses so that they'll be lighter in low light situations, and then they will darken accordingly for however bright your conditions are outside. And I do like that because having the transitions means that I can use these even indoors, inside restaurants, that kind of thing, without looking like some weirdo that wears dark sunglasses indoors like, you know, Corey Hart. Now, the new RayBan glasses come with a very familiar RayBan case. If you've had any of their sunglasses, this looks very similar. Now, this is very cool because this is a charging case. Not only do I have a USB-C port on the bottom, but there's also a battery inside there so I can charge up my glasses. They just click right in place. It's very easy. And I do like that you get this indicator light on the front. So as I close it, I can see the status here. Now, I'm getting pretty good battery life on these glasses, 5 to 6 hours if I'm just kind of wearing them, maybe listening to some music. If I'm doing a lot of stuff like taking a lot of phone calls, listening to music, taking photos, taking videos on a regular basis, then I can expect my battery life to be more like 3 or 4 hours. But that's still very good, and they charge very quickly in this case. In about an hour, I'm ready to go again. Now, controls are pretty basic on these. I mean, I do have a button up here to take photos. One quick press and it will take a photo. Hold it down for a long press, it will start a video. And it does give you nice auditory cues so you know exactly what's going on. You've got an on-off switch here on the other side of the bridge, so that's handy if you want to save battery life or just turn the glasses off so they're not constantly functioning while you're walking around. There is also the option to use the built-in AI. You can say, hey, Meta, and then some basic things like make a phone call or listen to a text, send a message. You can take photos and videos hands-free, that kind of stuff. On the side of the glasses, it's imperceptible, but there is actually an action bar here. And if I'm doing something like listening to music on Spotify, I can advance forward to the next song or go back to the other song, or I can tap to pause, things like that. So overall, the controls are simple. They're actually quite easy to get a handle on. Okay, but we're primarily a photo and video based channel, right? So let's talk about the camera that's in here. You do both stills and video out of this camera module on the left side, just over your temple. For stills, you know, it's better than the original, but we're still not great. We're up to 12 megapixels from the previous 5. I would say the focal length is pretty similar to your main camera on a phone. So it's gonna be roughly in that 24 millimeter range. Now, there are some things that I will say about this camera. I mean, quality's fine if you're going to be using it for things like social media output. I would say it's probably a couple generations behind the latest and greatest smartphone of today. But it does take quite a while to take photos. When I have these on here and then I push this button, there's a bit of a delay and I have to make sure that I hold my head steady the whole time until I hear the last sort of artificial mechanical shutter cue sound. Because if I move even a little bit, usually I get blur, obviously, especially in low light situations. But wait, there's more quirks that we need to talk about. So this camera module is actually pointed a little bit more to the right, even though it's mounted on the left. Now, the idea is if I have something at arm's length and I'm centering it in my field of view, it's pretty much centered in the shot. But if anything's further away, what I actually find is the composition is too far to the right. So if you're focusing on something further away, you kind of have to get used to this, tilting your head a little bit to the left to compensate for that angle. And that takes a little bit of getting used to. I mean, I shot a video here and I had this, you know, flock of geese and ducks flying overhead, and I thought it was really cool and I kept it centered in the frame. But as you can see, it's actually cut off quite a bit on the left-hand side. That was pretty annoying. But wait, there's more weird quirks here, okay? So first off, the video on this, 1080p, 30 frames per second only, that's it. No other frame rates. And you're actually limited to 1 minute record times. Now, this does make sense in a way. I mean, first off, all the photos and videos are gonna be stored on the glasses, and then you can import them through the MetaView app onto your phone. And I have to say, it uses Wi-Fi to connect. It's very fast. I really like that. Importing 1 minute videos makes more sense, right? It just saves time and saves storage, so I get it. Plus, the fact is, most people, if you're just using this to record memories or things like that, a minute is usually plenty for things like Instagram Reels or TikTok or Facebook. However, if you're live streaming, there is no such record time limit. But wait, there's more quirks that are kind of frustrating. The camera only records a vertical format. And again, I understand the logic behind this. That's how we usually use smartphones. That's how a lot of Instagram, TikTok stuff's going to be presented. But if I want to do any sort of horizontal shots or horizontal framing, I guess I'm craning my head 90 degrees to the side. And on that same subject, you do really, as a photographer or videographer, have to be very careful with your head. It's natural that we like to move our head around or look at things. That can be really disorienting for your viewer if you're recording videos. And also, any sort of tilting that you might do with your head naturally, well, that's obviously going to show up in your photos and videos. But I guess my final thoughts are, these are really intended to mostly capture social media posts or memories that are happening. And I think that makes sense, because if I really want to get better quality, I can easily do that using a proper action camera or using my phone for a lot of those situations. Of course, plus the flexibility to be able to do horizontal frames and that kind of stuff. Still, I think for what they were trying to achieve with these Meta glasses, they've actually done a pretty good job. But we haven't really addressed the elephant in the room. Let's talk about that now. So here on the right side of the glasses, you've got an LED light, and this is an indicator to show that you're taking photos or recording video. Now, very interesting. If you cover it up and try to take photos and video, it won't start. But if you already start a video, for example, and then you just casually cover it up with your finger or something like that, it will keep recording and nobody will know that you're recording.
Hey Jordan, just say something, I don't know, incriminating for fun, why not?
Why are you holding your hand?
No,
like that?
I just blocking the sun even though it's on the other side of the glass.
It looks uncomfortable. Why are you doing that?
Take your jacket off.
I mean, what is
slowly.
going on?
Nothing, don't.
Now, being a law-abiding Canadian who's very polite and doesn't want to disturb anybody, I would never think of using this in social situations without letting people know that I was recording or being with friends and family that are familiar with me. But then Jordan was like, oh, I'm going to go full creep mode with these glasses. But even though Ray-Ban Meta Smart glasses have gone through this extra length to make sure that there's some sort of indicator that people are being recorded, I honestly don't think many people are going to notice this. I think it's just human nature not to necessarily make eye contact if you don't have to. People wearing glasses, I think people will give you a glance and look away and not even notice. And so, well, I'll just leave that where it is. I would never think of using that. And Jordan's very mad at me, shaking his head. He would never use it for anything like that either, of course. But it is a weird dynamic, and I really think if you are trying to record without being known, you will get away with it. Okay, but these glasses aren't just for taking photos and videos. They also have speakers built in and microphones. They're great for live streaming, although do keep in mind, if you live stream with these, you can only live stream through Meta's actual apps and whatever services that they use, like Facebook Live. It doesn't necessarily play well with Twitch or YouTube Live or anything like that, at least not yet. But what I did like these for is, for example, taking phone calls. 5 microphones, far improved over the original 1 microphone on the first version of the glasses, means that your audio clarity is actually really good. As well, if you're recording video, you get that spatial audio. So if somebody walks behind you and speaks, you'll hear it spatially when you're playing it back as if somebody was behind you. That's really cool as well. Now, in regards to the speakers on here, if you're listening to music or calls, I would say the quality and clarity is actually really quite good, better than I expected. You might not get as strong a bass as you're going to get. And of course, these are not noise canceling headphones in any way, shape, or form. They don't drown out the rest of the world, but I actually think that's a good use case. I mean, what I do like about these is I can still hear the world around me. So if I'm driving in a car, I'm still hearing traffic, I'm still hearing horns and things like that. You know, if I'm walking down the street, I'm not going to accidentally walk in front of a train and not know it. I mean, I do think that's a good advantage. However, I am going to disagree with a lot of the other people that have reviewed these glasses, because the fact that you can hear the environment around you means you're often going to turn these up to be able to hear better, hear your music easier, take your calls better, and some of that audio will bleed. I don't know, call me old-fashioned, okay? Maybe it's just my Canadian politeness sensibilities. I just grew up in a time where you don't disturb other people in public places, like on a bus or on a train or in an Uber or something like that, listening to music. I mean, turning it up, Jordan could still clearly hear all the phone calls I was getting and the music, the lyrics that I was hearing sitting beside me in a car. And I mean, you would hear that on a bus or a train or anything. I don't like that. I think it's rude. Now, look, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe this is more socially acceptable than it used to be. But if you're one of those, I don't know, monsters that likes to do that, you know, you go hiking in pristine areas, we got music blaring, or I don't know, you're taking phone calls like on your phone, like with the speaker on the train or something, so everybody's part of your conversation. Well, you're gonna love these, but you're still a monster. Walking on your way to work though, casually on the street, nobody else around, why not? I have to admit though, I was really impressed by the design of these glasses, just what they're capable of. I mean, you have interesting device here that does perform a lot of functions, and yet the glasses, well, they just look like glasses. I guess I expected these to have bulbous packs for batteries and weird things hanging off of them, but really they just look like casual glasses. So these are a very interesting device, and I guess my next question to myself would be, would I buy these for myself? Oddly enough, I could absolutely see using these and really enjoying them for fishing of all... Yeah, I know, Jordan, of all things, because I often have to pull up my smartphone to try to capture fish, and I don't have my hands free. I've got one holding the phone, trying not to drop it. This is great. It's totally hands-free. It's natural to just look at the subject and record. I'm out in a place where I'm not disturbing anybody else if I'm listening to music or taking calls or anything like that. And I would get these with polarized lenses. Of course, you can switch these lenses out for whatever you want, and so that'd be excellent for fishing purposes. Would I use them as they are now in transitions just for day-to-day life? Personally, probably not. I like the image quality improvements that my smartphone gives me. I wouldn't want to disturb anybody with the audio anyways, and otherwise I don't need to wear glasses. My eyes are still okay for now. You know, if I think about it and I think about what could they do differently to make these better, I honestly don't know that that's really the issue. I mean, I think what they've done here is made a device that works very well as it is. I think it really comes down more to your personality type and what you like to do in your lifestyle, whether these would actually be useful for you. But hopefully this video has helped you understand better what these can do for you and if that's something that fits your needs. Absolutely, I think they're worth checking out. They are a very interesting device. Please leave your comments below. Let us know what you think about smart glasses like this. And if you have any questions, let us know that as well. Check out our podcast too. It's on the exact same YouTube channel you're watching right now, or you can go to all your favorite podcasting apps and you can see it there. Just listen to the PetaPixel podcast. That's what you're looking for. And leave your comments there too. We love to answer those. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you soon with more PetaPixel.